Right guys, we're going to start off with your GCSE coursework. Today we're going to do your context situation, design brief and some problem analysis. You've chosen your context and situation from the exam board tasks at school, and now we're going to do some detailed problem analysis. The idea is to set out all this information on an A3 page, do a detailed mind map of all the problems and the opportunities, then eventually write 5 or 10 questions. These questions are what you need to answer in your project to get the best marks. So we'll start out with a way of getting lots of information. There's many techniques, but one of them is to use accessfm, which we've looked at before. Accessfm starts with an A, and that's A for aesthetics. That means what it looks like. C is cost, another C is for customer, E will be for ergonomics. If you remember, ergonomics means how you interact with a product, how you use it, how you hold it, that kind of thing. ACCES. Safety, how something is made safe, how do we keep people safe. Yes. And then S. Size. Now size could be linked to ergonomics. Size could be the overall size of your object, or it could be the anthropometric size. So that word is to do with how big the human body is and whether it fits inside or on top of, or whether your hands fit around something. So that's a ESS. And then F and M. F is for function. That should be fairly straightforward. And M is for manufacturing. And that'll be how we consider how we might manufacture our product. So let's see what it looks like when we do our mind map, our detailed mind map. Some of these are going to be expanded on much more. I'm going to choose one of our themes, which was a recycled product. And we'll just go around and we'll put the words straight down. So we'll start again with aesthetics. Cost. Customer. Ergonomics. Safety. Size. Going to leave a nice big space for function. And again, a nice one for manufacturing. And while I'm here, I can go a bit further. I can say, well, actually, straight off the back of manufacturing, I want to know what materials I might use. I might think of using some wood, for example. And then I know a bit about wood already, so I can say, well, maybe I'm going to use hardwoods or softwoods, for example. And at the stage we're at now, that's a question. That's, are we going to use hardwood or softwood? Possibly. Which is one of many options. We're just exploring whether we can make a decision and how we're going to do that. So other materials, we might say metal. I might go with, well, steel. And I might say, well, I know I want to use steel, perhaps because it's easy to work with. And I can say it's easy to join. I can use welding. Although not at school. Maybe I'm going to go with aluminium. That could be because it's non-ferrous, so it doesn't rust. My manufacturing is going to be a one-off product. I want to consider whether it's going to be then a batch production or a mass production item. Now obviously if I'm going to make this a recycled product, maybe I can use recycled objects. So I can think, looking at steel, maybe I'm going to use recycled wheels. Or maybe I could use recycled wood from perhaps a pallet or an old chest of drawers, something that's been used before. Okay. What functions? Let's move on again, see what functions we might consider. Maybe I'm looking at what this product could do. It could do a lot of things. We've got a very open brief. Maybe it's going to hold something. That could be gadgets. Maybe that's just sports equipment. Perhaps it's a table, so just a simple table. Maybe the table is going to be like a coffee table, so it's going to have places to put newspapers and magazines. Just an idea. We saw that quite a common idea. We saw the idea of the one in the classroom from last year's Year 11. Made a table, a nice coffee table with a chessboard on it. So maybe it's got some extra features like games on it. I know another thing that you guys have been thinking about, maybe we're going to put speakers on this item. Thinking about our recycled product as a theme, perhaps those speakers, maybe we want to try and make them so that they're solar powered. What's best for the environment is really what we're maybe thinking about. Moving on, maybe we look at size. The size is determined by what space we've got to put the product in. Maybe where we've got to store it, where it's got to be used. How can I keep it in the classroom? That's a limiting factor. I can't make something the size of a house. So let's write some of these thoughts down. Storage and production there. Safety, well obviously we want it to be safe in use. So maybe we're looking at sharp edges. Maybe we're looking at loose parts. Maybe splinters might be a problem. Is it going to be too heavy? Now, a more technical thing to consider about safety is that does your product conform to any British standards? So, does it perhaps maybe use electricity? If it uses electricity, what's a safe way of doing it? Do we want a 240 volt coffee table, or maybe we're going to use only 12 volts to power our speakers? Or if we're going to use solar power, are we going to connect that to the mains, or are we going to just keep it battery powered so it can't be an electric shock risk? Something like that. moving around, let's do ergonomics. So ergonomics means how are we going to function with the product, how are we going to interact with it, and that really is what we're asking. How am I going to use it? Is it going to be, the idea is to make it easy to use and obvious. Will it need instructions? Okay, the customer. And we're going to go into this in quite a lot of detail. A simple question really is who is it for? We could have old people, people with a certain interest, sorry, old people, young people, etc. Okay, people with a specific interest. Maybe they are visitors. This is a shop theme, if we remember. Cost. Cost doesn't just mean cheap or expensive. We can have a range of costs. How are we going to find out the costs? What we're going to need to do is to look at other products on the market and see what they cost to make and to sell. Are we going to make a profit? And aesthetics. What does it want to look like? Is it supposed to look old and reused, or does it want to look brand new? Is it hiding the fact that it's been recycled, or is it supposed to be relishing or celebrating that fact? Right. So there's loads of other things you can think of. Hopefully this makes it a bit clearer about how to go around this process. Once you've got to this stage, you've got lots and lots of words written down, and then you need to write 5 or 10 questions based on this thinking, which we then need to answer. So I'll give you some examples of those, a bit like we had up in the lesson. So just running around things we've thought about, I need to work out my aesthetics. So my question can be, what should it look like? Maybe I need to know how much it's going to cost. So I need to find out what do its competitors cost. Okay, I can find out who the customer is. Okay, what functions? What functions are available to me, and what do I want to use? Again, I can find this out, but it's something I need to decide. Are there any safety issues to consider? Okay. I suppose another thing to think about is, where is my materials going to come from? we're going to recycle them, or I'm going to buy them from new. Okay, so hopefully we given you a better idea of what we're after in this this first exercise. The idea is to analyse the project, come up with all the different problems that you might come up against. This is just examples on this sheet, of course. All the things that are opportunities to investigate, things we need to find out, and things that we need to sort out before we build our project. Once we've got a good lot of ideas, then we can just choose from that 5 or 6 different specific questions that we're going to answer during our research part of the project, so that we get our really good designs, a really good high quality product at the end of the project. Thanks for listening.